I'm just gonna use Eddie as like a human shield.
Well, that was my original plan, is just to try and like grapple on to Eddie.
Then on Physical Asia, I'm like, who is this guy? The editing has made him seem like a brooding like beast.
Why is Australia in Physical Asia? They're not an Asian country. I would say more hate than I've ever received.
Yeah.
I got a couple of death threats and I was like,
What?
whoa.
Damn. What?
Yeah.
Oh, so it wasn't decided by Netflix?
No. Also, like, my biggest shortcoming is production value. Like, I can churn out things and I can be present in front of the camera really well, but then editing and producing kind of pull me down in quality. So I'm trying to get somebody else to produce it now.
Yeah.
And then I can just rock up and do the stuff with the guests.
Makes a world of difference. Like honestly, having the studio here, it's because I mean I know a little bit about cameras, or angles, or editing, but I'm not even good. I'm like super basic level.
Yes.
So not having to take care of that stuff is just such a load off your hands, you know.
Yeah,
so you can
exactly.
focus on the actual thing that you're good at, which is engaging guests.
Yeah, and having that conversation, talking. And so we made the podcast around fear and like mentality, and so I try and get guests on that do other, like basically voluntarily do dangerous stuff, whether it be like extreme sports athletes or like prison guards, deep sea divers, and just break down how they approach fear and then how that's kind of permeated into their real life.
Jeez. Okay, so it revolves around pretty much what you do,
Yes.
with the parkour stuff.
Yeah, I think I wanted to give it a subject matter as opposed to just have conversations either about pop culture or about like the person without any, like just your story. I wanted to have like some directive that people can then find value in.
And then potentially apply in their own lives.
Yes. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know, for the longest time I was just doing like, I guess, entertainment content where I was the subject and I was like, hey, blah, 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 I'm doing jumps, blah, blah. But then I realized like, what I want to give value back in, what can I give value back in? And I think most of the parallels between everyday life and parkour is that mentality, like that fear, risk tolerance, breaking it down, understanding it, digesting it. So that's what I'm trying to like promote through the podcast.
How did you get into the parkour stuff? Because can I just tell you, when I was like maybe 11, 12, I found out about this thing called parkour, and it's like, I was like, this is sick. Why don't you just jump between buildings and stuff? Yeah. And I mean, because I was very active from a very young age, but living in South Africa, like when you see the parkour stuff, you're like, oh, I need to be in like New York. Like that's the mentality. Like I was thinking, like I need to be Spider-Man. Like if I'm gonna be jumping between buildings, I need buildings.
Yeah, well, that's why the UK is the best.
Oh, really? Because it's just very urban.
Yeah, very tight-packed, old Victorian brick or like brutalist structures.
So a lot of like easier grips and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How do you do that in Australia? Oh, you're from
Sydney.
Sydney.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the situation there? Is it not as, because it's very just like a bunch of houses, right? Essentially.
Yeah. I mean, I do a lot of like picnic benches, electricity boxes, and I used to use like garbage bins when I started, just like stacking them up on their side because they're like a little bit soft.
Okay, so if you do bail, then it's not as
yeah. But you'd be surprised. We have like quite a large amount of urban development, and it's just like searching it out and finding it in those spaces. Like you've got to go a little bit further into the city or a little bit more obscure with location, but you can find any kind of dense area is going to have a bunch of walls and a bunch of interesting architecture that you can use.
So there is a sense of creativity that goes on with parkour, because parkour, the definition is the most efficient movement between in an urban environment, or exactly what is the
so that was the original kind of truism or through message of the sport, is getting from A to B as efficiently as possible. Some of the other moral guides, like moral codes or ethos of the sport, was to be strong, to be useful, and to consistently progress and better yourself. And so, like, through that whole chain of things, you get this A to B kind of mentality of like, you got to go find the spot, then you got to create what you want to do there, and then you've got to, like, if you want to film it, you've got to come up with the angles, the concept, and then you've got to deliver that on the back end, whether that just be for yourself, finishing the challenge, or like putting it online and that sort of thing. So it is like inherently a very mental and creative process together, more than it is just physical. Like there's no coach telling me when I should jump.
There's no roadmap. There's no like rule book. Oh, well, you know, we're playing a 90-minute game. You know, put the ball in the net. It's here's a bin. Do something good. You know, do something watch-worthy, essentially.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a very personal journey at first. You like go on, you learn like the basic fundamental techniques, and then you kind of build very periodically through your training. So like what you're seeing me do now is 17, 18 years of very dedicated time invested. So obviously I'm doing things that are quite dangerous, but for me it seems fairly normal.
Yeah.
But when you start, it is like, I'd say more playful and explorative than it is trying to promote yourself or like do anything that's like of note.
Right. Like, is this like, for example, what you did with the Japanese team in Japan when you were there a couple of weeks ago with Itoshi and Soichi?
Yes.
You were just in the park and just showing them some stuff.
Yeah.
Is that kind of like the basis of it, the beginning stages?
Exactly. So you go through from like rolls, landings, vault technique, jumping and catching things and that sort of thing, and understanding the mechanics. And then once you've done that, if you're fairly athletic, it's a pretty quick unlock. You can keep like pushing.
Like those boys must have been.
Yeah, I mean, like every single athlete that I've worked with from the show has been phenomenal at parkour on their first session. They're like, oh, you know, I was okay, right? I was like, you were great.
Yeah.
Like for a first time, it's unbelievable that people are trying backflips, jumping like, I don't know, 9, 10 feet.
Jeez.
And just able to adapt to each situation. Like there's a language barrier as well most of the time.
Yeah.
We have like someone there who does the translation.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's you're just speaking through movement. You're not really like conversing in that way. It's a very raw, fundamental way of communicating.
Yeah. That's sick, man. Like, it's not an Olympic sport yet, right?
No,
it should be. I think people would love to watch that because the element of danger is what is to me is what makes it so captivating. You know.
Well, interestingly enough, that's what makes it so hard to grade or put into a competitive space. We haven't found that thing that will put us into a stadium or an arena yet. We have the Federation of Gymnastics, who started making competitions within parkour and have kind of taken parkour in as one of their streams, but culturally, their competitions aren't the standard that we chase or we respect in that way. It's one of the facets of parkour.
Yeah.
We have a competition called Sports Parkour League that's run by a gym in Canada. And it originally started at just a North American Parkour Championships, NAPC. And as it evolved and more athletes from overseas came and competed, they decided to change it into this World Series. And so now they've got 3 different competition styles. You have speed, which is essentially a race. They usually do it like a time trial where they have 2 kind of markers at the start and then an obstacle course, and it's almost like cross country. You've got like a flag on your left and right and you've got to weave between them, so you can take alternate routes and decide which one's most effective for you, and it's quite complex, it's quite technical, and so you compete against the clock, and they'll do like 3 different rounds throughout the weekend or throughout the competition. Then they have skill, which is fundamental techniques taken to an extreme level, and it's set by experts. So there'll be like 5 or so techniques or moves or challenges, and they've got to either complete them in the shortest amount of time or the least amount of attempts, or tick off all 5 as fast as they can, kind of thing. Yeah. And then there's style, which is the one that I did the most of, and was the original parkour and free running competition style, which was 20 to 40 seconds on the same course. You have a couple of hours to come up with your run, and then you get to perform it once, and maybe you'll get to do a second round, which is the finals, and ideally you do a different line in that style line, and that's judged on flow, creativity, execution, and difficulty. So it's still quite esoteric, and doesn't have this very clear point structure. And I think that's what the Federation of Gymnastics competitions do, is they kind of try to allot points and
Yeah.
systems to everything, but it doesn't account for risk and it doesn't account for the danger. You don't get as many points for doing something that is really, really scary and difficult if it's a simple move, but you get more points for doing a difficult move in a simple area.
I see.
So that's where the grading is a little skewed still. But they're our best kind of direction into the Olympics because they have all these official ties and understanding of how the Olympic world works.
Yeah.
So we're trying to kind of find a balance between the community cultural identity and the competition sports identity at the moment. It's always like a balancing act.
Right. I I just thought of this the last Olympics with the breakdancer.
Ray
Like,
gun.
yeah, I mean, like you don't want that kind of situation to, regardless of if it's promotion, publicity. You don't want a situation like that to come and then create a kind of dark cloud around your sport and be like, oh, okay, now we're not gonna have this again. So it's good to go through those kind of official channels, in order to promote the sport in a positive light.
Yeah. I think that we run the risk of, because of the office parkour meme, we already are doing an uphill battle to make our sport legitimate and feel cool.
Steve Carell, how could you?
Yeah.
Parkour.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that's everyone's first reference to the sport,
Oh,
right?
really?
It's just rolling over the couch, like, parkour!
No.
And you'd be out in the street doing like a crazy 20-foot jump, and they're like, parkour!
Fuck.
Sick, man. But because of that, we almost as a culture try and cling to our own identity. The ethos is very strong within the community, and I would liken us to skateboarding 20, 30 years ago, where we're still quite a niche sport, but we are growing very rapidly, and the representation of parkour on the global stage has been quite good. So I was really grateful for Physical Asia giving me a parkour challenge, essentially.
Yeah, I was about to say, like just you being able to compete as a parkour athlete already was huge.
Yeah, that was one of the main goals for me, was to represent the sport in a positive light, but also showcase that we are highly trained, legitimate athletes who really do push ourselves not only in crazy jumps between rooftops, but all of the other facets of training.
I mean, if it's anybody who says it's not, it must be just completely brain damaged, because if you think about what you do as a gymnast, in the Olympics, if you're doing the rings or if you're doing the horse platform,
pommel horse.
What you guys are doing is similar. If you're jumping or backflipping or using your hands, just doing spins and stuff like that, it takes extreme just gymnastic ability to be able to do those things. And now you add in an element of danger where if you don't execute this thing, at least to a good degree, you run the risk of serious injury. So I think if anybody can see what you guys are doing, it's like, oh, this is insane, right? Like, for example, when I saw your Instagram, like the one you did in South Africa, I really wanted to ask you about that.
Yes, Johannesburg.
Tell me about that jump. A quick shout out to Freedom for sponsoring this video. If you've seen me training, you've definitely seen their gear. They're partnered with Olympia, so it's a legit brand. All of their links are down in the description. Have a look, buy something. Appreciate you, Freedom.
So is it the big standing one down across the staircase?
No, the one into the hay bale. Was that in South Africa?
No, the hay bale was in Japan.
Ah, okay. I thought that was in South Africa. Okay, tell me about the one in South Africa then.
So I did a project with Red Bull called City of Gold.
Yeah?
And
that's Johannesburg. Yeah.
Yes. It was a really interesting project because we were recreating a video game. I got absorbed into the game, and then I'm running through the city, and we got to see all these incredible locations that you just don't normally get access to. And meeting up with the local community there, they were so much fun, and it was such a different energy to what I experienced. I'd say they were more tight-knit and a smaller amount of practitioners.
Yeah.
But they just had this purity and this fun to the way that they approach the sport. And that, for me, gives me this reminder of why I started doing parkour, because it was fun. And then I got to go to Cape Town and spend a couple of weeks there, and the spots were just amazing.
Bro, Cape Town is insane.
Yeah, it was, and I climbed, I think it was, I want to say Lion's Head?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a 5-hour We went with some guy who was doing 6 different versions of a trail in that year. We just went on one of the complicated trails with him. It was amazing.
Yeah, Cape Town is. Oh man, Cape Town is. I don't like saying that out loud because the more people know about Cape Town, the more move there.
Yeah,
and you're like, this is where I want to retire. I don't want more people to go. It's literally heaven on earth. It's one of the best places in the world.
The people as well. Like that was the big standout quality to me was the reception and the warmth that I got from the South African population.
Yeah.
The Red Bull office, the athletes in parkour, and just the people on the street. I was going on yachts and going to parties that I would never have access to normally. But it was really an endearing experience, and I definitely want to go back to Cape Town. So.
But it's that's being edited out. But. So okay, tell me the most dangerous stunt you've done ever.
Oh, it's hard to quantify.
Okay, the one that you felt, okay, if this goes wrong, I'm really fucked.
Well, I think the one that stands out as the most dangerous to me is the one that did go wrong.
Okay.
So I did a front flip across a 14-foot gap.
Okay.
And I buffed the takeoff.
Oh, no.
So I came into the wall a little bit short, and I smacked it kind of ricocheted my top half into the corner of the wall. And so I managed to get my shoulder in front of my head, but if I'd hit my head, that would have been pretty much it.
Jeez.
And I don't really remember consciously doing it. It was kind of muscle memory at that stage. I just turned my body like I would normally and then smacked my head into my shoulder. And luckily I dislocated my shoulder only and didn't get concussed or anything like that.
Wow.
But that was one of the most dangerous moments of my career for sure, because I've been doing it for such a long time that sometimes you forget when you're projectiling yourself across these gaps and there's concrete and there's no forgiveness, that, the consequences are really, really high. And I think when you've been doing very high level stuff for a long time, that's when you can get into this state of like, oh, no matter what, I can do it. I've done it so many times before without truly thinking about maybe the consequences or the potential risks involved because they haven't happened before. So that was an eye-opening jump for me where I kind of reevaluated what my game plan or strategy was going forwards. I still have a lot of very dangerous jumps I want to do. But I think I'm a lot more meticulous now about the process and a lot more methodical in that journey to get to those specific challenges.
So, I mean, I guess the physical Asia challenge was not that dangerous. On the scale of the dangerous events you've undertaken, that's probably on the lower end, right?
Yeah, definitely. You can see me in a lot of the games smiling and giggling and like during the wrestling match. I'm like, this is a bunch of fun. Like, I don't see how I can get hurt in that scenario because usually I'm dealing with a lot more momentum and a lot more concrete. This was, wood, sand, bodies.
Bunch of bodies. And you've got Eddie, bro. He's just like, I'm just going to use Eddie as like a human shield.
Well, that was my original plan, is just to try and like grapple onto Eddie and then we'll be a little unit. But I just got torn away by Recep, the Turkish. He's a Turkish oil wrestler.
What a nice guy. Well, I mean, just from watching, I felt like he was he felt like a dad. He's just like a dad. He's got that dad aura. Yeah.
For sure. Even... so we had quite a lengthy wrestling match off to the side, essentially, and I was trying to like crawl my way back and he'd just rip me and throw me over and stuff like that.
No way.
But we both got back onto the platform at the end. And then afterwards, he came up and shook my hand and was like, "Mate, you did really well. You're so strong." Blah, blah, blah. Like gave me all these compliments that they didn't show on the show. But for me, that was the first instance of another competitor really showing that respect in that way. And I was like, oh, that was really endearing. Like I was impacted a lot by that. And so that was a motivator as well for me to be more vocal to the other contestants when I thought they did a good job.
And that's what people love the most about Physical 100 or Physical Asia. What they love is they love the competing part of the show, but they love the sportsmanship. I think the most endearing part of the show is the fact that people are like, wow, people are so kind. Well, like even when they lose or when they're not competing, they're cheering other people on. They're encouraging the other contestants. I think people love seeing that. And so I guess there are a lot of moments like that. So you can't really put all of it in the show. But it would have been nice to see that from Recep, because I feel like from the 8 teams, Australia and Turkey got a lot of. If not, there wasn't a lot of hate, but most of the hate that
we
they
got
were.
some hate.
You guys and Turkey got most of it, right? And so when I watched, I was like, because I'm a big Whittaker fan, right? I've been a fan of him for many years because I love UFC.
Yeah.
And it is a very well-known fact that Whittaker is the nicest guy in the UFC.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I was like, this guy's like a teddy bear. Like everyone loves him in the UFC. Then on Physical Age, I'm like, who is this guy? Like they have the editing has made him seem like a brooding like beast. Like he's very quiet and like this is not the Whittaker that I know. So and because I had competed, I was like, okay, I know that there's a lot of character building because you can't just show the contest like the challenges. You have to create a story for people, and so. I knew that there was a bit of character building around him to make him seem like this kind of like stoic, tough kind of Aussie dude. I'm like, I know there's so much banter going on behind there that was probably clipped out. So I want to know was it your first time working? Did you know him before? Like what was your experience that we didn't get to see with regards to him?
So it was my first time meeting Rob, and I again was like, oh, this is going to be some intimidating, scary UFC champion. He was the most lovable, chuckle-filled, like really, really down-to-earth bloke and super, super like uniting as a captain. Once we voted him captain, first off, he was like, oh, thank you, guys. Like, he didn't expect it at all. He wasn't, and he was like, the way I see captainship is that.
Well, you guys voted him as captain?
Yeah, so actually, this is something that most people don't know, is every team got to choose their captain.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, so it wasn't decided by Netflix?
No.
Bro, I didn't even know this.
Yeah. So I actually received a couple of votes, and then
That's sick.
4 of us voted for Rob.
Yeah.
And then I'm so glad that Rob was the captain. So much more pressure. I think I might have been less of a uniting force. That's what Rob did really well. Like once we voted him captain, and he sat down at the table, he was like, guys, I don't see myself as a captain. We are a team, and I will listen to every single person's opinion as equally as mine, and we'll do this together. And that brought us all together as a family.
Funny enough, being a UFC athlete, it's a non-team. It's one of the least team type sports out there. So I guess it is kind of the persona that he has. As an athlete, he's definitely larger than life. So picking him would have made sense. But I had no idea that. I guess that's why they picked Dong Hyung as well, because he's very well known, popular, and he also was the team captain in the previous seasons.
I think there was a level of respect for the fighters that were there. It's like Yushin Okami was the Japanese team, Recep was the Turkish team leader.
Yeah.
Most of the captains were fighters, and I think a lot of us on the team respected them.
And even for Thailand was a Super Bond. Oh yeah, okay. Maybe people were just scared, like if we don't fucking select the fighter,
Rob's gonna beat the shit out of me.
Smash us, in the waiting room. Like we're gonna have to pick him.
Yeah, no, I think it was the right choice for sure, and he's like brilliant.
Yeah.
The one thing I will always tell people about Rob is he is willing to die on every single hill that we climb.
Yeah.
He'd be like, I'm gonna die here. I'm like, Rob, we don't need to. We're winning. He's like, don't worry, I'm gonna die on this hill.
We're having lunch, Rob. You calm down. We're just having a meal. I live here.
I live here, brother.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. He was like eyeing up all the competition all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like him and Okumbaya, the Mongolian team captain,
Yeah.
had this crazy eye contact going the whole time because he's from Bok Wrestling, which is very traditional, very stoic, and quite like ferocious in its traditional values.
Yeah.
And so he was looking at everyone like a piece of meat the whole time.
Yeah.
And then Rob was like, I think this guy's eyeing me up.
Yeah,
and he's just eyeing him back the whole time. And they had this little like cute rivalry going of intensity.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I have a lot to say about the perception of the Australian team. The reason why, I can explain this for people that don't know, because I live here and I speak both languages. The reason why, firstly, there's the language barrier. So when you guys are speaking English. So when the viewers are watching, they get to hear firsthand without needing to kind of interpret nuances from reading the subtitles. They know exactly what you guys are saying. So you guys it could be like playful, it could be banter, it could be serious in the moment, like with regards to how you're competing. But when you're listening to the other teams, especially like physical 1 and 2, when people say like, oh, they're more arrogant or whatever, the Australian team. When you're reading subtitles, firstly, the way they're translated, it's simplified so people can read and understand without needing to interpret too much. Secondly, the way that they're written it strips the nuance of what the people might be saying as well. So I feel like there is still a level of competitiveness and not arrogance but confidence with a lot of the Korean contestants when they're speaking Korean in the first 2 seasons. But unfortunately, that it gets lost in translation, right? And so people might assume that the Australian team was more arrogant.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was. I think it's just these sort of slight cultural nuances that don't get translated well. And so I kind of felt in the beginning I was like, yeah, look at the when you guys came out, you were like fucking tumbling and doing. I was like, yeah, the guys are here. They're excited. They're having fun, but they're not like we're here. Like screw everyone else. It was like having fun. And the Asian way I feel like just from living here the last 10 years is in the beginning is to be more humble and then show your arrogance through your actions as opposed to your words. Whereas I think Westerners try to play it up a little bit more to create a little bit of a vibe, a little bit of a rivalry, competitiveness, because otherwise it won't be boring, but it just adds a little bit of a different nuance. And I think that's exactly why you guys were invited,
Yeah, well, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. One, a lot of people, before the show even came out, when we were announced, were like, why is Australia in physical Asia? They're not an Asian country. But they were using the APAC region, kind of, wherein a lot of series sports and different competitions that are in this southern hemisphere.
Right.
So we got looped in with that, and they asked us to be on the show. What am I going to say? No, we're not actually. I'm not actually physically Asian, so it's unacceptable. No, I'm a fan of the show. I wanted to be on the show. I love it.
If you think about it logically, like somebody comes to you, they're like, we want you to compete in this Netflix globally renowned show and representing your country.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, you know what? No. Try New Zealand.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's what they would have done if Australia had said no. So I mean, obviously you're gonna say yes. And like, for example, with the soccer, with the World Cup or the Olympics, when you guys are competing for a spot, do you compete with the Oceania?
As far as I know, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like, it's not that far fetched.
Yeah.
For you guys to have been there.
And then to add, like, I'm obnoxious. I am. I'm loud. I'm crass. I've always been this way. I've been told that my whole life. So I was, not that taken aback when people were annoyed at our cockiness or arrogance. It's like, I've been perceived like that before. That makes sense to me.
It's just being bubbly.
Yeah, I was just having fun and being a very unfiltered version of myself.
And you know what, mate? Can I just? I need to just compliment with this because people can say what they want, but in every episode, you knew exactly the names of all the contestants. So you didn't say the wrestler, or you would say Songbin or Amuti, or you knew the people's names, which means you actually came prepared. You did your research on the previous seasons. You were a fan of the show. You watched the other contestants. You knew what their sports were. You knew what their names were. I mean, that's a lot. That's saying more than a lot of other people had done, So I think that in itself is super endearing. So to show like, I care about this enough to have done that, and so I really respected that you had done that. I was like, a lot of this. It wasn't a lot of hate in the beginning. I think people
the first
kind of
4
warmed.
episodes, we kind of did get, I would say, more hate than I've ever received.
Yeah.
I got a couple of death threats, and I was like,
What?
whoa,
Damn.
whoa. And,
Really?
Yeah, and people
No,
were accusing me of racism as well, which was very strange for me because I feel like that, like being on the show, I have no control of why I'm the token Caucasian athlete. Like it didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
And that was quite like a throw off for me. I was like, and we did get a bit of a villain edit, like even with when I stole Japan's crates in the second quest, which we were allowed to do. It wasn't stealing, otherwise they would have told us.
Again, just very meticulously understanding the rules is not cheating.
No,
if you're like, because when they explain the rules, they tell you a couple of times, and you have a good amount of time to like think about it, right? And even ask questions and whatnot. Can I steal a crate? Yeah. If these are the rules and you play within the guidelines that they provide, it's it's fair play, it's smart play.
Yes, and when I've talked to the Japanese team about it, they were all like, "Yeah, it was a really good game plan, like great game strategy." But what they don't show exactly in the show is that Soichi and I had 5 minutes left. It was a 20-minute round, and at 14 minutes, we'd finished all our crates.
Yeah.
So there was 6 minutes left. What was I supposed to do? Stand there and be like, "Oh,
do some zip linings.
Yeah, good job,
parkour,
team." You're attached to the line. You can't get off and help your team.
Yeah.
That's you're locked in for the whole round.
Yeah.
So I saw more crates and I was like, "There's more work I can do.
Yeah.
I'm willing to like put in more man hours to get us over the line." And
exactly.
But what was funny was the definite. 5 minutes earlier, and then the screen has like a black hue to it. It's like brrr, brrr. I'm like, that's the villain edit. Like that's fine. Like
the villain edit's cool, bro. Like being getting the villain edit also means you get a lot of good airtime. And you know what is even better? When you get that, and then afterwards, people start to see or realize who you really are. Not just you, but the Australian team. Like especially the groundwork that you and Eddie have been doing. On social media. People are like, these guys are nice. They're cool. They're down to earth. They're not. So you get that redemption arc. And that's way better than just people not knowing who you are.
For sure.
Essentially, or like getting no screen time.
Because after those first 4 episodes dropped, I was like, whoa, am I like gonna get just railroaded the whole time on the show? Like I thought I was quite like supportive and vocally so of all the other athletes, which is something I really learned from parkour. Is celebrating everyone's individual journey. Right. It doesn't matter if you come first, second, third, last. If you tried your hardest and you did a good job, you deserve praise, and that's something in parkour that we're quite big on.
100%. Yeah, I have a philosophy that whatever you do, end on zero. So if you're taking on any type of endeavor and you don't succeed or you come second or third, but at the end your gas tank is on zero, then you've succeeded. And I think I really appreciated what you guys did, and also I've seen the type of editing. Editing is like you're just a piece of the show. You're like people, even celebs. Sometimes when you do TV shows, you're like, excuse me, I've arrived, But then you see the editor like, what the fuck? Why did they make me look like it? They're like, oh, you're just like a piece for the greater,
they're
story.
Making a good TV program, and everyone that watches has to remember that's what they're doing. They're making good TV, so they're going to create narratives and push different identities as much as possible.
Right.
And I think they did a great job on this show. I think they really did make an amazing program, like with the experience they took from season 1 and season 2 of Physical 100 into Physical Asia. I think they made a captivating, brilliant show. And one of the things why I was such a big fan of the first 2 seasons is because the drama is the action. The drama is the trials that they go through during the challenges. Not so much like the sob story from before or, the hardship they've been through. It's like the hardship they're going through in that moment.
That's definitely more of a Western style. It's like, the issues, your life problems or the hardship that you had, overcome to get to this point, where it's like, we're going to just focus on this here now. That's more of the main focus. Yeah,
you see it with like American Idol and Australian Idol and that sort of thing. Where it's all about
the tear jerkers before you even start like, don't make me like this guy. I don't even know who he is. Let me judge him based on what I see here.
And what he's here for, which is to sing or to do the sport or to do the challenge, do the quest. Like, let's judge them on that. And that's what originally really drew me to the show and had my emotional hooks just straight in. And so I think through making it more national pride and more diverse and having all these different countries invested has made a really, really not only like great sportive TV show, but a great cultural mashup where they had 8 different languages operating at the same time for this show, which was a lot of an undertaking on set, but the results have been unbelievable. Phenomenal. In my opinion.
And I mean, that's the difference with the first 2 seasons and this time. a lot of the contestants that fell out early or just were more introverted or not really well spoken or outspoken didn't get any screen time. Like some people got zero screen time.
There was a parkour guy, and I only saw that he was a parkour guy. Team Illusion, I think, was He did a muscle up in like the waiting room.
Yeah.
And they said parkour, and I was like, And then I never saw him again.
Exactly. So like they will decide based on how far you go and also like your personality, how much screen time you get based on what they anticipate how loved you will be by the viewers. But you guys were lucky because with Physical Asia, every team was going to be there until the team fell out, which would be like a good couple of seasons episodes into the season, and also. It's easy to build a story around you guys because you're competing for your country, you're representing your country. So you're going to get a lot of screen time regardless of how far you get. So it was you guys had that narrative and character story built in from the start just based on the concept this time, whereas that wasn't really the case. So I think that was a little bit different, very beneficial for you guys, but also it added a little bit of, I think, slightly could have been more burdensome just based on the fact that, I'm competing for Australia now, even though it's not the Olympics or an official event, it's a TV show for God's sake. But, but you're going to get Australians that are going to be watching at home and be like, they better not fuck this up, you know?
They're representing the country.
Yeah, exactly.
Similar to what we said about the breakdancing thing earlier. It's like we're being put on this platform and representing our nation as a sporting culture.
Yeah.
And we are a huge sporting culture in Australia. We love it.
Oh, man. So, I'm from South Africa. Like,
exactly.
I know,
it's the same thing. It's like there is a cultural identity that goes hand in hand with high-level sporting performance. Yeah. And so there was that added pressure. But I also think because you're as a team, it was really, really bonding and you were really, really powerful together. That's something after the shipwreck quest, our team became like a family. And still to this day, we're talking every day on the group chat.
It is pretty cool to see.
Really
like,
bonded.
You definitely form a couple of close, relationships with the people that you like. For me, from the season, I was like with Thanos, for example, and a couple of other people. Jaeyoon, who was my team captain. But I am very curious. I want to ask about so Australia then. When you guys got to like the later stages, it was like, it looks like Australia might actually win this because you guys had been doing very well, dominating a lot of the quests, being either first or second up until the end. What happened with the old rope-a-dope there, the rope vibe?
Well, I mean, we went into every challenge the same way.
We're gonna go and try to be first.
And that was a very led by Rob mission, which was like, we're just going to rip into every single challenge as hard as we can.
Yeah.
If there's an opportunity for us to go straight to the next round, we're going to take that opportunity. We're not going to hedge our bets. If you believe that you're going to come in second, then you're going to come in second. So we just, not for 1 second in any single challenge, not just the rope challenge, even when we were doing the pushing challenge, I was like, I'm going to win.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have that mentality, you're not going to win.
Right.
Especially going up against other phenomenal athletes who maybe, in the pushing challenge specifically, they had a huge weight advantage on our team when it was like mass moves mass. That's simple logic. Yeah. And that was our kind of mantra the whole time was like, go in, balls to the wall, rip in as hard as you can and just dominate every single competition we do. So it didn't work out on the rope, but...
I mean, it worked out the first round. You guys dominated.
Yeah.
And then the Japanese boys just came in and fucking Mr. Boulder Shoulder.
Oh my God, Itoi.
He's just such a beast, man. I love him. I think he was my number one favorite from the show. I think he's just so cool, man. Yeah. It's like, when I get into my mid-40s, I want to be like him.
That's it. Yeah. I find him really inspiring. Yeah. Not just because of his physicality, but his demeanor and his like zest for life. He's got this really youthful energy. Yeah. And I feel like it's actually more prevalent in real life than it was on the show. Even though it shows it on the show and shows him kind of getting into that jovialness because it's so serious. And production does want you to be serious during it. I kept having to reshoot the walking scenes with my team because I was smiling. And they're like, Dom, stop smiling. I'm like, I literally can't.
Yeah, I'm having fun, okay?
My serious face is...
Yeah.
Like, and at one point they did ask me, which wasn't in the interviews on the show, but they did ask me, like, why are you smiling all the time? During the quests and during the intros. I was like, one, it's who I am.
Yeah.
But two, also, I don't think you need to be tough to be intimidating.
Yeah.
I think, if anything, the guy who's having fun and still kicking ass
Yeah.
is almost scarier because
Exactly.
he's just having a good time and
Looks
winning.
like it's nothing to him.
Yeah. It's just part of the package, right?
Right.
So that's kind of what I said to them is, I'm not going to pretend to be this aggressive, tough, intimidating persona when I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not.
yeah.
I'm very fun-loving,
Yeah.
and that doesn't mean I won't give 120 to every single mountain that we have, but
Yeah.
it also means that I'm going to support and cheer on everyone and
Yeah.
smile and high-five everyone. Like, that's
And
just who I am.
I respect you, the choice that the Australian team made by going just like all in on every challenge. Because I had a conversation with one of my Korean friends and was like, shouldn't they have kind of like, thought this through a little bit? I'm like, I think for them, it's like, we're going to win. And if we're going to win, we need to show that we're going to win, by dominating. We need to win assertively. So
Yes.
going all in is what we need to do to show that we're the best here, because we had done pretty well up until that time.
Yes.
So you guys took a gamble and you stuck to your original strategy. Was like, we're just going to just go try and smash it out. And it didn't work out with the battle rope, and then you guys had an uphill battle with that
The inescapable hell.
yeah, exactly, the 100 rounds of pain.
They just chained us, like handcuffed us
Yeah.
to this thing. And like,
Whoever
push,
makes the
push.
show is just an absolute
Yeah.
masochist or
Yeah,
a sadist. I don't know.
There was a lot of this season as well, particularly a lot more sand.
Yeah.
So everything you were doing,
It's
pushing in the
hard.
sand,
Bro, the
is so much
sand.
more exhausting than
Yeah.
pushing that around on grass
Definitely.
or rubber or
Grip,
anything.
It's heavier and it gets into your shoes. And
I had to basically press my feet into the holes I'd already made every lap so that I could start digging out like a path.
Yeah, I
'Cause
saw that.
Otherwise, you're just
Did you ever think of taking your shoes off?
no. I mean, I'm definitely more comfortable with my shoes on from doing parkour for such a long
Interesting.
time.
Yeah.
But also, I've over the years done a lot of damage to my ankles.
Okay.
And so any extra support there is going to be warranted. So I was
Interesting,
like,
yeah.
tie the shoes up tight, give me
Yeah.
a little bit more like friction, not friction, sorry, like stability there.
Yeah.
And then it was just like a matter of. I mean, when I do any of these challenges, it's not like I'm not very strategic, which also you could tell Australia. We're not very strategic. We're very just like lock in and go.
Yeah. It's like when I think of just the typical Western like athlete, we're gonna smash and dominate, and I
Yeah.
was like, we needed that, This was what made it fun.
Well, it's interesting as well because now they're creating physical Italy. They've just shot.
Yeah,
Physical
it's
100
gonna
Italy.
be released soon. Yeah,
And then they're doing. They're casting, I think, US and Sweden. I saw posters for.
Yeah.
So we were like the original push into the Western market. We were. I mean, you obviously were as well, but in the sense of being shown in that light, I think was also a stepping stone for the show to access more of the global audience and to bring in people who maybe thought the original show was a little like less, was more stoic or was more like had a singular cultural identity. As now we had not only ours, but all these different cultures coming in and showcasing who they were and their different.
And every show is going to have
values.
like a different spin and different vibe to it. The Italian one, the Swedish one, the American one. People are like, oh, I'm not going to watch it because it's just going to be like, no. Every single show is just going to have its own, unique identity. And I think that's what's going to make physical, whatever the name of the country,
World, universe.
so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love for it to get to the point where there's like a physical world. Like I can see this going that direction.
Now with the success of this show and the fact that they're doing 3 more seasons, I fully believe that is a reality that will happen one day. Is a physical universe or physical world of some sort. I mean, I'd love to be involved in any way possible, even if it's just on like commentary side of things or actually being involved in the games.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, Netflix have been very different in their approach to the marketing this time. With the first 2 seasons, they didn't really collaborate with the contestants. We weren't really invited to a bunch of, I think there was like one review event. There weren't a lot of like marketing pushes, whereas this time, man, they're going all out, and I think they're using it. They're utilizing the correct strategy by using you guys who have the platforms, who have now amassed the followers, and saying, like, we're going to do this event, we're going to do this collaboration, and now I think that's way bigger, compared to what we had.
Well, originally, when we were shooting the show, and similar to when the show was announced but hadn't come out yet, there wasn't a lot of steam. There wasn't a lot of there wasn't any production pressure for us to promote or push the show in any way.
Yeah.
That I feel like it really started with Eddie.
Yeah.
And Eddie was straight on it. I did like an introduction to the team, and that went pretty well online. He did a bunch of stuff leading up to it, and that went really well online. And as soon as the first 4 episodes dropped, he was like bang, bang, bang with the media.
Marketing genius. That's what it is.
Yeah. He's my muse.
Yeah, man, it's insane.
So good.
I regret not having done what he did. Like, honestly, I was like, there were a couple of reasons why I didn't at that time upload a couple of posts. But like what Eddie has been doing, and it's really infected everyone else because I see all the physical. You guys are all collaborating, all meeting, all going to each other's countries, all like promoting each other, and it's just this very wholesome, organic growth. And I'm like, this is what a good show does, and this is how you promote and grow something organically where people fall in love with it.
Yeah. So I mean, other than Netflix flying over Eddie and Okunbaya for promotion during that like the second last week of release.
Yeah.
Everything else has been done completely voluntarily by the athletes. Yep.
No way.
And then off the back of the success of the show, then like Netflix Korea started collaborating with Eddie and some of those guys from that trip.
Yeah.
And realized the power of social media. And then
which is funny because I mean this is Netflix, so they should have. I mean, they should have known,
Yeah, but I think now we're seeing so much more unity between all of the athletes and production because we've been doing so much work, trying to push the show, and like the fan meetup stuff or like the team meetup stuff. Sorry, It's for me. It's been coincidental.
Yeah,
I was traveling to Japan for parkour.
With
my team, Team Farang.
Oh, really?
I've been traveling with them for years. We make videos in all different countries.
I see.
And like that's what my life has been for since 2014. Just travel, parkour. So I happened to be in Japan shooting our film, and then I just messaged the team and I was like, "Oh, would you guys want to hang out?" And Itoye was like, "Oh, I want to do a parkour session." So I took him, and it was, again, just completely organic. Just filmed him and me doing parkour. Was like, oh, try this. He was amazing.
Yeah.
And the response online was like, boof.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's cool.
More of that.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy teaching parkour. My whole North Star is to promote parkour to as many people as possible. Because I think it's such a great tool for learning, and it's been so life-changing for me as a skill without all of the monetary or business success or industry success that I've had.
Yeah.
Simply the tools and lessons that I learned from practicing the sport were so powerful that's why I wanted to promote it to as many people as possible. Yeah. And so now I'm, as opposed to doing these inaccessible jumps from 10 meters and across huge gaps, I'm actually directly making it more accessible by showing my new friends how to do it. Yeah. And that's giving a lot more of a broad audience understanding of how they could get into it and how they can get started in parkour.
No, I think you've done a really good job because, I mean, I don't think parkour has ever, except for like the Red Bull type stuff, had these type of big platforms. And I think every athlete in each team has really done well to promote their individual sport. I mean, Eddie with the sack toss was everyone's like, oh, this is strongman. This is his bread and butter. Like, bro, when you guys are saying 밥 먹자, again, this just shows a sincere interest in the culture and in the show. I don't think any other team, learned some Korean and then spoke Korean on the show. You guys were here a couple of weeks and you already you knew how to say let's eat. Yeah, that's funny and
because it was so endearing. Eddie was the one again who provocated that because he was asking, because we had a Korean production team that was working with Team Australia. Yeah. Each team had like a little.
I know it was your manager. I think she was one of the producer and managers that I had worked with as well.
Oh, okay, yeah.
She speaks really. What was her name? I follow her on Instagram. Really, really kind. She told me. I think she assembled you guys maybe.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
I know her
name
Korean
as well.
name. I can't remember her English name.
Yeah, I know. We also had a guy, Chris, who was working with us, who was like really cheerful and really positive the whole time, which brought us in. And then Eddie kept so I like to think I'm like pretty culturally aware, and I really make an effort when I go to different countries to learn, the key phrases and invest in understanding the customs and how people go about their day and the cultural identity of these different countries. But Eddie is just on another level.
Yeah.
He likes learning new languages, and every time he's going somewhere, he does his research prior to getting there instead of learning on the ground, which is kind of more my thing.
Yeah.
I'm always so impressed because he goes to another level with that sort of thing. And so he asked, because the American saying like, let's eat, let's go eat.
It's time to eat.
And
And he was like, 밥 먹자, 밥 먹자. I was like, this is amazing because in the Korean language context, let's do it like usually like 가자 or fighting, like let's do it, let's get it. But saying 밥 먹자, like I was like, oh, this works actually. You're using the American nuance of like let's get it, but saying it in Korean, this is sick.
And it works, and it really is. It fit really well with Eddie wanting to eat all the time as well. So it was like this duality that he managed to just kind of come up with, and we all jumped on board. And
I mean, even the finger heart.
Yeah,
I saw that. I was like, dude, this is God. Usually in Korea, like that's what the ajoshis do. It's so funny. It was
and
really
seeing
cool.
This big behemoth, towering man be like, ding.
Yeah,
like he has this really soft, nurturing side to him. And I feel like you can see it when Alex did the ring challenge. And he came over and he gave her a big hug, and he was like, I'm just not going to let go until she stops crying.
Yeah.
Like he was the heart and soul of our team in that way.
Is he a Samoan or where?
He's Samoan.
Yeah, one of my best mates here in Korea is also Australian.
Okay.
And he's half Samoan, half I think Pacific Islander or Maori. He's
Maori.
Half Maori and half Samoan.
So that's like Rob has Samoan heritage and he's Maori as well.
Oh, okay. I see.
And then Aloni is
Also,
Fijian.
Yeah.
And Alex is half Philippines.
Yeah. Very diverse.
Yeah, we actually had a quite large
Super Asian
Islander
exactly.
team for a team that was perceived as not being Asian.
Yeah. No, I saw that and I was like, oh, this is... The hate is unfounded, and I mean, like, it's mostly people that just want to have a reason to. And I'm happy you guys have like not really concerned yourself with that too much. Don't take that too hard. Like, just move past it. You guys have done really well. And what I was saying about my friend, like these, like as with my mate, as with Eddie, like these people just have like this core loving energy about them, and I really, really love that. I appreciated seeing that.
Yeah, this jovialness that really like radiated through the crew. I think. Like, we all have these different personality types, and we were able to gel so well because of that. Like, Caitlin is, like, when we met, I was like, you're just a female me. Like, it's just super high energy, super, like, intense, and super self-confident.
Mate, she was extremely impressive. With that parkour challenge that you guys did, she was going at the same speed as Kim Dong-hyun.
Yes.
When I rewatched, I was like, they're neck and neck.
Yeah.
And she was blasting through. It was just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, she was like our secret weapon. I think a lot of people didn't realize how.
Even with the pushing thing, bro.
Every so often, she would just be like, all right, guys, I'm taking charge, bush, and just push like up our speed for like 2-3 laps. Yeah. Then she'd be like, Dom, take over. And I'm so glad they didn't show this in the edit, but I'd be like, I can't. And just, like, I actually, admittedly, was a lot more... of a wuss than the show led on during that pushing challenge. I complained. I said I wanted to stop.
Really?
And the girls kept me in the game.
So, okay, in this regard, we can say thanks to the editing gods. You know, they made you look like a badass. You know.
Oh yeah, they made me look like like that supportive, strong
Oh, they did.
anchor for my team.
I mean, and I, just meeting you now, like I literally met you 5 minutes before we started the podcast.
Yeah, that was the best thing ever.
Like, we've been talking.
This conversation is our first conversation,
Exactly.
really.
Yeah. And I mean, I think what people see on the show is pretty much the true Dom. Like you're extremely encouraging. You're very high energy, and I mean, honestly, I think that's why you were cast for the show because you were just such a good fit, you know. But I want to ask you about like the team. I think who have come out of this with the most success. Mongolia, yeah. They have come out as the absolute fan favorite. Not only, I think, are they now revered in Mongolia for putting Mongolia on the map because Mongolians are such special people. And I think they never had the platform to show that. And this show has granted them the platform and the whole world is like, oh, they're amazing.
Yes.
And not only in Mongolia, but in Korea, they're loved. I think most Koreans would have been completely fine with the Mongolian team winning. Like, even my Korean friends that I watch with, they're like, we're winning both ways. Mongolia wins, we win. Korea wins, we win. Like, no, they didn't really care. I think I'm trying to express or figure out what they did to... What was this like dark energy that they bottled, you know, to just be so, you know, universally loved?
Well, I think the standout thing was what you spoke about with the Korean values is showing arrogance or pride is through their actions. They had this quiet humility and they were super, super respectful of every other contestant for who they were straight from the get-go. They were like, oh, you know, these guys look strong. You know, they put their best foot forwards in every competition. And admittedly, some of the other teams saw them as an underdog originally. And so, I was confused as well because I saw them and I was like,
Aura. Aura.
We're in trouble, guys. You know, especially the way that Okanbaya would stare down everyone. And Arya Suren was such a powerful like force within their team.
Yeah.
She's so young and
but she had braces. I'm like, how old is she? And I was like, she is so inspiring. I was like, you're an absolute beast. She was just the entire team, bro.
Yeah, and so you know that perception from the other teams when they came third in the shipwreck challenge and loaded the third most amount. Then everyone started to be like, these guys. But it was again, they didn't come out banging their chest and screaming.
Spoke through their actions.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, speaks true to Mongolian culture. Yeah. They're very warm, friendly, generous people, but they have this core traditional value that is really powerful and they are true to their roots.
Stoic, I mean, I was in Mongolia last year for the first time. And I mean, obviously I'd even known about this. I just really wanted to go and I mean, I loved it. Mongolia was so amazing. And just seeing like that, I went on holiday to Mongolia. I have no ties or roots, but seeing them on the show was like, I felt like this. I've been to Mongolia, therefore they should win. You know, you just have this like inherent support for this team just based on the way that they're acting. It was fantastic. I mean the his name is so difficult.
Orgel?
Yeah. I watch UFC, but I don't watch one championship. I watched his fight live.
Yeah.
I was like,
I was like, you were invested.
Get it, baby. I was like, I wanted him to win so bad. I'm like, did this show just like, now I understand the power, you know, of like storytelling and like giving exposure to other cultures, you know, on a big platform.
Yeah. I mean, that was one of the, again, coolest things about the show was this showcasing of not only the Mongolian culture, but all the different cultures and how they approach competition, how they approach interactions with other teams, and how they approach self-confidence. Yeah. You know, because obviously Team Australia is very loud, and I'd say that Team Mongolia is more quiet and, as you said, stoic in their nature. Yeah. But then you had Indonesia had this crazy like aggression and power. Like they definitely had the scariest intro. And Idge's doing that. Yeah, we're like, you know, like that's intense.
I love the ball fighting scene when they with the female athlete. She was like.
Rafina.
Yeah, it was great to see. I was like, this is sick. You know, this is what you want. You know?
She like that red-blooded passion that she had in that moment was fully authentic.
Oh,
was
no,
fully,
I could see, yeah.
She was pissed about Glenn getting like his chin open, which was completely accidental.
Yeah, 100%.
But at
just
the
in the
same
heat
time,
of the moment, you're competing. Yeah.
It's your team, and they're bleeding. You're gonna see red, and like
Literally.
that unity between the teams became so strong during the game. So as I said, with the shipwreck challenge for us, that was like our bonding moment. I feel like each team had one of these challenges or one of these moments or one of these quests that really gave them that togetherness.
Exactly, yeah.
Like in Quest 3, the unity and power of Team Philippines, especially when it came down to like, oh, they're head-to-head with Korea. This could be like a crazy upset for Philippines to take out
Justin
Korea.
was doing so well.
They did like 170 throws.
It was insane. Because in the beginning, Amoti looked pretty shaky, right? I was like, ooh, it looks like Justin's going to pull this out. I mean, it's luckily Manny pulled out so Justin could come in, because I don't think it would have been possible with Manny, but Justin did so well.
Yeah, man,
and
he was incredible.
Amoti just rose to the occasion.
It's why he is who he is, why he is the winner of season 2, and why he's so revered athletically. Like when he arrived in season 2, people were like, oh my God, you're going to win.
Yeah,
Because he, like, so, you know, to give it a comparison, in the parkour challenge, I was expected to do well.
Yeah.
So if I didn't do well, idiot.
Yeah.
In that challenge, he was the least built for it.
Yeah.
You know, Justin was heavier than him, had bigger shoulders, was built for like throwing as well, had good technique, understood the thing.
Yeah.
Eddie was a joke for him.
Yeah.
So Amoti rising to that challenge and overcoming that obstacle was insane to watch because, you know, for the first few, you were like, oh, I don't know. And then once he locked in, he locked in.
You can see, like, he's always got this big smile on his face, but I think around like round like 90 or something, he just had this like this stern expression of you know he was resolved.
He was
to win
doing
this.
this. Yeah. Especially once he found his rhythm, like he just didn't miss. It was the same throw every single time, and that really impressed me on the day.
Did they keep going after? Oh, there was no need to keep to decide 1 and 2, right?
No,
it
and they
right
just
there.
So we knew. Like they just gave it to Australia.
Okay.
We walked away from that, and that's another reason we were so confident going to the next challenge. We walked away from that with 11 points.
Yeah,
like
you guys absolutely dominated.
Three wins.
It's like I mean,
out of 4.
I want to talk about the rigging allegations between the last for the last quest, but it was like when you look at that quest, it's like there could have been no rigging because it looked like they had called you guys up in advance. Like, Australia, okay, your athletes or this guy. Okay, we're gonna design these quests around you guys. It's like a parkour challenge. It's a strongman challenge. Like it was literally made for you guys. You know?
And same with the like. I do think an aspect of it was the game design was to this time not just show strength and skill. Strength and power and stamina, but actually to show off skill a little bit. Which like the ring hanging challenge felt like it was designed for Ochir.
Yeah.
Because he literally hangs off things and balances on things for a living.
Man, that guy, if he wasn't doing that, could have been a model. Because I feel like
so beautiful.
He's like Legolas, bro. He's like the Asian Legolas. I'm like, this man is so good to look at, and I think he's older than we are.
Yes.
You're and Amoti the same age, like 92, right?
Yes.
So I'm 91. Like I was like, this man is, I think he's born in 88 or something. He's so good looking. It's just flawless skin, just like an absolute specimen, you know. So that could have been his other calling if he hadn't.
For sure. Yeah, I think he was the person I bonded with the most instantly.
Oh, is it? Well,
so
he speaks a bit of English as well?
Quite a lot of English. And he comes from, a movement performance background, which we were quite similar in. So over the first meal where we were all at different tables, he came over and he's like, hey, I know you from Instagram, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God, what do you do? Blah, blah, blah. I started talking. I was like, oh my God, this guy's amazing.
Yeah.
And we just built this really close dynamic very quickly, which is why you see on the show when he comes in, he's like, morning, because we're already pals.
Yeah. And you're allowed to, like, in the waiting rooms, you guys can interacting and all that.
Yeah. I feel like that's one thing that obviously you don't see, but before each quest, we're sitting in the back of the studio for like half an hour to an hour while they do the setup and everything, all just sitting and talking.
Sometimes we would be in the waiting rooms for like 4, 5, 6 hours, mate, when we were waiting.
Well, this is something I met up with Gibson last night from season 2,
Yeah.
and one thing that we talked about was the difference in setup for the season. So we shot all of Physical Asia over 21 days.
Yeah.
It was one quest,
Yeah.
which usually lasted between minimum, I want to say 16 and maximum 25, 27 hours.
Yeah.
And then we would go back to the hotel. Our rest day was generally an interview day as well. So you didn't have like a full day off. You would sleep from 7 a.m. when you got home till midday. Then you got to get up at 1, go to do your interviews,
rough, bro.
come back, sleep that evening, and then bang, you're on 6:30 call time the next morning. So it was like grueling like that. I had heard that you guys had about 10 days between each, and it was a longer period, which makes sense.
Because people have to work, and in the beginning, there's so many people. Like, people have day jobs and whatnot. So
Well, that was another advantage to this show is that there was 48 cast members as opposed to 100.
Exactly.
So everyone was more able to be given their flowers,
more
and their
more
special
personal
moment.
time, more in-depth story building.
Yeah.
But I just want to, like, what time did you have to be at Sweat on Soul?
10:30
10:30. Okay, cool.
ish.
Okay, yeah, I mean, we have definitely have time. Okay, so now the one thing that people like, there's a lot of speculation about rigging, and I mean, this happens every season. Like in the second season, people DM me all the time. They were like, "Were you paid to drop your bust?" I'm like, "What?" I'm like, I don't think there's any athlete who would, I mean, there probably are, but very few people would, there's not enough money that you could pay someone to take a fall.
No,
especially if you can win,
Especially also if you're representing your country.
Yeah, I mean, in my regard,
yes,
I wasn't really, I was just representing me.
Yeah.
But like in that case, it was just poor technique on my side. I used both hands. I should have rotated my hands in and out because lactic acid builds up on both arms, and then you have no grip. But if you do one, you can shake it out, and that's exactly what Bomsok and Amotia did.
Yeah.
So, I mean, no, I wasn't like I just lost.
Yeah.
This is all it is.
I think the thing that bothers me the most about the rigging rigging allegations is that you're discrediting all the athletes and the effort they put in.
100%.
Like, the intensity and the grueling process of these games, everyone gave everything to.
Yeah.
And look at the athletes. We're all stoked. We all had a great time. We all enjoyed the process. So I just feel like there's no need to like tear it down in that way.
And
it's just
the production,
just disrespecting all of the competitors for what they put into it.
And the production literally have nothing to gain from Korea winning or losing.
No.
So like just look at the success of the show. If Korea had dropped out, people would have still watched. It would have been just as popular. It really didn't matter. And number one and number two, the amount of effort that it would take. The amount of clandestine movement that you would need to just invest in, like not letting other teams figure out that you had,
the contingencies. It's like the
logs
secret
and,
cabal of production. It would be harder. It would be so much harder to do all that than just play the games out.
The perceived value that you can get from that is honestly nothing.
Yeah.
The only thing I will say, and this is just so obvious. And on the nose that I don't even feel I need to say it, but the only advantage that the Korean team did have was the fact that they had competed before. So they knew what the sets, not what it would look like, but where it would be, how it's staged. They knew the entrances. They knew the kind of timing. They knew what it felt like. So they understood that part of the show. And I think having that definitely was invaluable to them.
For sure.
But also, there's no way that you couldn't not give that to them. You could have invited a bunch of people that hadn't competed, but I mean that wouldn't. Again, it's a TV show. You're not trying to sell this. You're gonna need the winner from season. You're gonna need Amuti, who was super popular. You're gonna need Songbin, who was super popular. You're gonna need Unshil.
Yeah, so, they're crowd drawers. They're like part of the lore of the show, but they're also like high performers. So it's a good combination. And like,
it's like if saying that they would have known would have discredited you guys because you would say, oh, they're not strong enough to beat them. People were scared of the Australian team because they were so big. So it doesn't really,
and I think the biggest tell is that they were in a death match in the sack tossing competition against Team Philippines. Like. If they wanted to script it, I don't think they would have put themselves in that dangerous situation where like.
They could have lost. They could have not
just-
even made it to the final.
Yeah, and that was a very real possibility that we all felt in that arena right there. We're like, wow, is this about to be a crazy upset? Because they are the
home team.
The home team,
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah,
like we all believed it was possible too. So it wasn't.
Oh no, I could see it. I was like, I mean, otherwise, Amoti wasn't gonna miss a couple and then get back into it.
No,
because
you can't act with an 18-kilo sack toss.
No.
It's just not
and
possible.
now you're also what you're accusing the Korean team of is them also being complicit with it and taking a part in potentially creating the drama.
It's
like the
silly.
Olympics or rugby or soccer World Cup. The home nation, hosts the competition, and they have some small advantage from that, and that's just inherent of the competition. Unless we're hosting this on the goddamn moon,
someone's gonna have a home ground advantage.
It's just not gonna, it's just the way it's gonna work.
Yeah,
and so I think people have gotten over that because essentially. It's not the Olympics. It's not a gold medal. People aren't competing here to win. You know what you're competing for? Screen time. You're competing for the potential to get noticed, and then build something from that.
So many people have built profiles off the back of the show that they just didn't have before.
Yeah.
And
some people came from like 4,000 or 5,000 Instagram followers to having hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, and whether that be someone who was like Thailand was one of the first teams to be eliminated. Yet James is one of the most memorable and favorite.
James,
like he's S tier,
bro. He is, and I actually reached out to him because I want to go to Thailand and do a pod with him as well. When Mark came out and he was like, "Wow, bro!" They even made like memes about that. This, you know what sets really popular people aside from is authenticity. Like James was just so authentically himself, and I loved him from the first moment I saw him on screen. He was just so funny, so charismatic, and so himself.
Yes, and what I loved about him was how impressive he was in every game. I think some of the other teams who maybe don't have as many flamboyant characters who are high-level athletes from their country, whereas people like Thailand, people like us, we're more used to that. We're more used to seeing that side of people have the duality. And he just showed up in every... Like, I didn't know about the shipwreck quest, but when I saw that back, I was like, man, the guy's just an animal. Just really, really impressed me in so many different ways. And that's why I think the show has been so great is because it has given this opportunity. Like, as you mentioned, Mark, he's doing so many commercials and brand deals that are related.
Mark, can you respond to my DM, please? I reached out. Mark, please, if you're watching this, better respond to my DM. Because I wanted to go to the Philippines and meet a couple of the people there.
Yeah.
I know he's popular, but come on, man.
Come on, bro. It's bro.
Yeah.
It's bro.
Yeah. I mean, he'll watch this and then you better. If he responds to the DM, I'm gonna upload that to my Instagram. I'm gonna take a screenshot of that.
Yeah.
So okay, just a couple of more things. If you had a dream team, if you could pick 6 people from physical Asia, so 5 people because it would include yourself, obviously. This is hard, I know, but the Avengers team for you, who would you have picked?
Right. I would never change my team, so I'm going to exclude Team Australia entirely from this. Otherwise, I feel
diplomatic.
I just feel like it's too much of a
No,
hack.
you should.
We're so close, and I wouldn't pick another team in the world.
No, that's completely fair.
But if I had to pick another team, Amodi would be my first pick because Dom Modi, hashtag Dom Modi for life. Growing into the show, I was training to be as much like Amodi as I could.
Yeah, very well-rounded.
I saw how well he performed in all the different variety challenges. I was like, that guy would be my top pick. I would pick Arya Suren.
Okay.
As my first female. I think she's just absolutely like powerful, strong, and
then so sweet and like Gen Z type afterwards.
And then Yasmin would be my second female choice.
She was scary.
Yeah.
First time I saw her, I was like, oh, she's
she's
scary.
well-rounded too. She can run. She's agile. She's strong.
Yeah.
She she impressed me so much.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see as much of her competing as I would have liked, but that would be my 2 female picks.
Okay.
Like just absolute powerhouse.
So you're up to 4. You got 2. Who else?
Amodi, myself, Arya Suren, Yasmin. All right, so I need a tank.
Yeah.
I need a big guy. I'm trying to think because I feel like Min Jae is a pretty good choice, but I also really like if I'm going for Avengers team.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, I'm probably going to pick Min Jae as my tank because
Okay.
Eddie's a hack. If you have Eddie, fair
Yeah,
game,
yeah,
you're fine.
yeah.
But I also just really liked like his he pushed himself above and beyond every single time, like pushing the thing up till he got a nosebleed in the shipwreck challenge,
yeah.
and
just
like
so good for TV, man.
yeah, and the way he like lifted and carried like those final games in the final
Bro,
quest.
he was the hard carry for Korea on the last one. Like literally, it was. I think there was a lot of doubt with regards to his abilities throughout the season, and then at the end, he just delivered.
Yeah, and then I guess that means I've got my midweight, which would be James.
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 Yeah, you gotta have James for the spice.
I mean, for just the team spirit as well, he'd be so much fun. Like we'd have a good time every game we played.
Yeah.
So that would probably be. It's so hard because there's so many athletes I would pick. Like I really also thought that Anil from the Turkish team was really great.
Yeah.
And JC from Team Philippines, I thought when the one that stepped into the captain role when Manny left.
Yeah, Justin. Yeah.
Justin, I thought he was brilliant. Yeah. I thought
him and I have been corresponding as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah, he's a great
such
guy.
a nice guy, family man.
Yeah, and he's 41. I did not, the entire show, I had no idea that he was 41.
Well, let me just tell you, I live here in Korea, and Asian people just look so good. They look so young, and you and I, we're just
going to wrinkle away.
No, we have already wrinkled away. Like I'm going to tell you, when we did one of the reaction episodes, I hadn't realized how old you are. I was like, oh, maybe it's like 36 or 37.
Yeah.
And
compared to the rest of the cast,
and
that
I
checks
just
out.
Google, I was like, oh damn, he's younger than I am. And I was like, this is what it feels like, because like my life in Korea the last 10 years, people always think I'm older than what I am, and obviously I have a beard and whatever, but it's like, okay, now I get it. We do look a little bit older.
I mean, I definitely look way older than Amodi, and we're like the same age.
Yeah,
so.
It's crazy, right? Yeah. I mean, you've seen Thanos, right? Like,
yes.
Almost he's older than Thanos. Yeah, so it's like there definitely is. I mean, Thanos also Korean, but Thanos looks a little bit older for his age.
Yeah. No, I mean, I guess then that would say my reserves, because each team had reserves, right? My reserves would be Lara.
Yeah.
Because from Team Philippines,
beast,
and I would put JC as my other reserve.
So many good. Like I honestly watching the show, I was like, I loved every contestant. I honestly thought it was
it's so hard when you said that. I'm like,
I can't.
Because it's all my friends as well. I thought Soichi Hashimoto was one of the key players for Japan. Just absolutely.
Mate,
everyone talks about Itoye, but Soichi showed up in every single challenge and went
with
so hard.
With the ball with the ball fight, he smashed it.
Wrestling Min Jae in the first round, he smashed it.
Yeah, he did very well with the ropes. He did very well on the one that you did.
Zip line,
No, not the zip line.
The hurdle challenge.
The hurdle challenge.
Yeah,
He did fantastic in that.
Mm-hmm.
No, the entire Japanese team also did very well. They picked the best contestants for the show.
Yeah.
So I'm happy I watched it, bro. I know you're a busy man, so I'm not gonna keep you much longer. But I just want people to know how much I struggled to get this man here. Like, schedules are full, so I really appreciate you for coming out.
No, thank you for having me, man. As I've told you, I've been a big fan since the second season came out. There was some standout players, and you were one of them for me.
Appreciate it.
Really, really impressive, and I was just honored to message you online and meet you. I was like, oh my god, this is sick.
Yeah, bro, it's been so much fun. It's like super enlightening on a lot of fronts, and I think these things are necessary. So there's a lot of I think parts that people don't understand about the show, and these type of things really just shed some light on this is how that works. This is how that works. And this we don't have control over type of thing. So it's been great having you here, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. You mentioned the thing that you were shooting in Japan. You just want to give a shout out to that?
Team Farang. You can look them up all social media. Farang is a Thai word for foreigner.
Right.
Because we're a bunch of outsiders that go to different places. We have a Thai athlete who is our original kind of I don't know how to say the person that we all flocked to and that we were all staying with originally in Thailand, and then that's become more of an overseas team. And then check me out on socials, Dom Tomato, everywhere.
Yeah,
And that's it.
I'll link that as well. Cheers, bro. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, 6, man. That was good. That was fantastic.
Wicked.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed that, we have a few other full-length podcasts you can check right here. Click it. Go ahead.